Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK.
And I'm Courtney.
And Courtney, how are you?
Girl, I am tired. Um,
Sure.
I have been doing so many things all at one time.
Uh-huh.
Turns out I have 4 jobs, um, as opposed to the 3.
Me too. Well,
5 maybe if you count 5 jobs.
I was like,
Um,
when we count this, it's 4. I guess if you count
do we
being
count this? That's 6 if we count
okay,
this.
because I always count this, but I think if you count
Okay.
me being in school, I'm at 5 right now.
Yeah,
Grad school's
because
a lot of
I
work.
grad school is yeah, that should be added for sure. I have billing, UK editing, management. I can't even say the words. Artist management, consulting, which I've started getting new clients for this week, which is great. I'm tired. And data. Those are
Yeah.
like 5 like everyday jobs, which means I'm not sleeping a lot, which is really great for my mental health. But while I'm in the midst of working 73 jobs at one time,
Yeah.
I also got an apartment. So next time,
Yeah.
hell if I know. I don't know. Maybe next time we record, I will be in a new
Maybe.
place. It depends if there's electricity there or not. Um, I have
Wait.
not signed my lease yet. I do have everything in writing, and I have bugged the hell out of my new landlord, because he is just a good old country boy who was not made for being a landlord to an attorney, let me tell you. Because he sure doesn't know how. I told Rachel today, I was like, should I just call him and be like, can I draft this lease and you'll just sign it? Like, can I do that part? So he says he has the lease ready, but he was with his son's baseball tournament. And then today he's going to Bay St. Louis. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So he wanted to go like on Wednesday. And I was like, I'm not even gonna be here on Wednesday. So Saturday, the day before the lease would start, is the day we're theoretically gonna sign this said lease.
Right.
But
Cool.
he needs to like go through and like clean it out, and like there's stuff in the drawers, like junk stuff, like little cardboard and stuff, like just things I don't want to deal with moving into a new place.
Yeah.
But so like when you get inside, it's perfect. But like it used to be a business, so it's kind of awkward looking on the outside.
Okay.
And it's like 2 houses in one, but like mine will be a 3-bedroom house, with a full bath and with a with a laundry room. So like it's not a small house,
Yeah.
but it's attached to the other house that's exactly the same size. So it's just a really long building. It looks like an office. So like the front of it where you park looks kind of like a parking lot. Um, so I was asking him, I was like, how does like electric and water, like, do you like, I knew it wasn't turned on, but I was like, do you have that set up? Like,
Yeah.
do I need to put it in my name? Do I need to get it set up entirely? Like, what
Right.
is the situation? He's like, oh yeah, you just call the people and set it up. And I was like, yeah, that tracks. And then I was like, so like, what about trash? Like, and he was like, yeah, you just take the trash can out to like the mailbox. And he was like, oh yeah, everybody used to just go to the post office, but then a lady lived there and she put out a mailbox because she thought that'd be nice. So I think you have a mailbox now too. It's like, God, dear God. So bless his heart, bless his sweetheart. Um, but it is a 3-bedroom house for $12.50 a month. Um, and it's like 2 streets over from my friend Stella and like 15 minutes from Rachel. So like it's kind of the best of all
Yeah,
worlds,
no,
but
my 3 bedroom house is significantly more than that.
mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like the bedrooms are like bedroom size. So like you walk in and it's like kind of open concept. I kind of took pictures, but it was dark and there was no electricity, so I had like curtain shining a light, so it's you
yeah,
can kind of see.
right.
But it's like there's no fridge, so I have to bring a fridge. But I have collected so many things from people in this neighborhood, like that know me. Everyone has offered to help me move and give me things like beds. I've been offered a bed and potentially a fridge, so like that's nice. Um, but like there's like very little counter space. But like Nick's mom's gonna give me a table, so like I'll have like a kitchen table. And then the front
Yeah.
room will be like the bedroom, because there's a walk-in closet, like doors on either end of the wall because it goes all the way through. Walk-in closet. So
Okay.
I will never know what's in the middle of my closet,
Yeah, I
for
bet.
sure. But I will have room for things to be in the middle of my closet. I just won't know what they are. Um, and then the room across is a little bit smaller, but still like big enough for like a room.
Yeah.
So that'll be my office. And then the back bedroom is like regular bedroom size. So that'll be like my guest room or like my like hangout room or whatever. I'll probably put like I have a TV and then Mimal's giving me her TV. Like I'm just collecting things. And then the
Yeah.
bathroom is like full bathroom, like bath and shower. It looks like it may have been an add-on, but it's there. So that's all that matters. And a
Yeah.
full laundry room with like hookups, and Rachel and Nick are gonna get new laundry stuff and give me there. So
Nice.
so I'm very excited to have my place. Sadie can be there. Um, it's still a 30-minute drive from work, but Sadie can be there and I'll be just down the road from everyone still. So it'll be very nice once it happens. Until then I'll be a little stressed about it, but
yeah.
because also like we're driving back in from my parents on Saturday and my lease is supposed to start Sunday.
Yeah.
And I don't really know when or how or where things are being moved. So
That's fair. That's fair. When you guys watch this episode, it will be
Christmas, I don't know.
no, it'll only be December 8th. We're not that far ahead.
Oh,
But which means it'll be 4 weeks till my wedding. So I don't think I will be alive. I'm so
cool.
I'm
Can't wait.
stressed. It's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we're both totally thriving. If that wasn't abundantly clear.
Yeah, so obvious. Yeah, I accidentally also got another job today, so that's cool. I was at production meeting for Dan's like school's theater department. And okay, I only came because Dan forgot to buy drinks. He went to the store to get dinner for the production meeting and then called me and was like, "Are you still at the house?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you have to leave to record right now?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Can you go to the store and get Arnold Palmer?" I was like, "Okay." But then obviously, like I went and did all these errands. I wasn't gonna just like leave. Plus,
Right.
I wanted to talk to Pascal, who runs the department, about some of the conversations I had with my boss at Shays this week. So I was there. And we do the whole production meeting. We're talking through things. The new marketing director at the school is fantastic, and she's like got all these ideas. Everything's going really, really well. And then they're talking about like what adults they still need to bring on in the production. Because like it's a high school show, so they want to have like high schoolers do as much of the tech and stuff as they can, but obviously like you can't, there are some things you can't leave up to children.
Right.
And they were like, well, I know kids want to work in stage management, but we need an adult stage manager. And they were like, yeah. And he was like, and I need to know. And they were like, whoever they had last year, they were like, I don't think we can have them do it because they need to be somebody who has called a show off of a score. They're like, do you know anyone who can do that? And I'm literally just standing there and I just raised my hand. And at this point, I'm really bad at face acting, which is why I don't act anymore. And I just look really confused. And they were like, you know how to do that? I go, I didn't. I won a Kennedy Center Award for stage management in college. I've stage managed opera. I can call from a score. And they were like, why the fuck are we hiring other people then? I go, I genuinely don't know. So I don't know if I have to go to the auditions tomorrow. I forgot to ask.
Now is a good time to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. After the school is the school even open tomorrow? Why are auditions tomorrow?
No, tomorrow's our last day. We have school tomorrow. We don't have school Wednesday, but we have school tomorrow.
I think everybody's out here.
Oh well, fuck them. Just no, I'm actually excited about school tomorrow because tomorrow, so we have 10 kids this year who have been in the country for less than a year. So I have 10 of my students have never had Thanksgiving before.
Aww.
So we're having a party. We're like or like I called Bob Evans today and we're getting a Bob Evans like holiday thing, like family meal, and we're gonna have Thanksgiving dinner party for my kiddos. And I also had another party for one of my kids today because he got his citizenship on Friday. So we had a citizenship party
Aw,
for one of my kids today, and then we're having Thanksgiving party tomorrow. So like I'm like, okay, it's just all
nice.
of the rest of work has been terrible because I don't know if you know, but 2 day weeks below.
Yeah.
Terrible. It's worse than 5 days.
Mm-hmm. Because you're trying to cram it all in and then you don't
Right,
have
because
anything
you have
done
like
and then
that
it puts you
You
behind.
have like Thursday energy with Monday momentum.
Right, right, right.
And it's
Yeah.
so, and then tomorrow is like,
Thankfully, I've gotten that down in my working life that it doesn't seem to matter. I just work a random day every so many days.
yeah.
Nothing makes sense anymore.
Yeah, I somehow I do wonder all the time what people outside of education's lives are like. Because like we went to school our whole lives and everything was on a Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. like life
Right.
done. You go to college, okay, so your hours are a little later, a little longer, but it's still Monday to Friday. Then you get a real job, and who the fuck knows?
Yeah, well, I'm
Like,
for sure not the one to look at. I'm for sure not the
well,
model for standard.
well, yeah, your schedule's like more insane than most. And like, yeah, some people are in business and they still work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And like, obviously, education, we're still Monday to Friday,
Mhm.
way too early to way too late. But like, but then like, what if you like own a restaurant and you can just like have whatever fucking days off you want? Or like, what if you like work, I mean, or you work in a theater and your only day off is Monday? Like, what the
Right.
fuck? Like, I'm like, how do thank God I went into the same field that my brain has been programmed since birth to know how to handle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still tired all the
I
time though.
wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you. I've never done anything in a way that makes sense. So, I don't know. Sounds nice though. Sounds good.
Yeah. Um, you know what
I should have
else?
gone into education.
No, you shouldn't
I
have.
know. I almost did. I'm glad I didn't. I was going
Um,
to music ed.
no, you would have not, no offense. You would have been a terrible teacher.
No,
Like
I
you,
know. I'm so good one-on-one. I am a great
yeah,
like tutor or like trainer like one-on-one.
yeah,
I'm an excellent trainer. I've trained every job. The one I'm currently in, I've trained at and I've been there 3 weeks. Like I'm a
yeah,
great trainer. I am not a full classroom person. I am a terrible public speaker. I don't care if they're kids. I'm terrible speaking in front of people. I trip over
yeah,
my words. I don't want to deal with that many people at one time.
yeah.
Like, yeah, no, it's not for me. It was because my only options were performance or education. And if I couldn't be in the Philharmonic, I didn't want to do performance.
Valid.
So, yes, but I'm here to support you.
Thanks. Um, in supporting me, could you maybe give me some words of wisdom?
Absolutely.
Mm.
So I picked this quote and then remembered that your episode comes before my episode. So it's fine. Um, I was on the director's website of our next episode because we do have a new director for this
Oh,
episode, if
okay.
it wasn't blatantly obvious. Um, so, um, but the first thing when you open his website is obviously a Hannibal. And then it says, after nourishment, shelter and companionship, stories are the thing we need most in the world. Philip Pullman.
Love
And
that.
I just stumbled upon that today and I thought that was lovely.
Love it. I love it.
So I don't
Ah,
remember. I think he's a writer. Oh, yeah, he wrote the Golden Compass stuff.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew that name.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I know his name. I don't know what he's done. That's what it
Yes,
was.
yes. So
Yeah.
we're talking not about Hannibal, but about Stargate
We're not.
SG-1, Season 7, Episode 4, Orpheus.
Yeah.
When we're done talking about the episode, I will talk about the fact that I don't actually think that the title makes sense, but we'll get there. Um, it came out on June 27th, 2003, and was rated 7.4 stars. So it is our lowest of the season so far. It's the first one under
Wow,
8.
that's really high too, I feel like.
Yeah, it's the first one under 8 for the season. It is by no means the lowest, but I will say as a whole, this season is rated very well, especially compared to last season.
Well, Daniel's back.
Truly.
Mhm.
The number one song really, really shook me. It took me a
All night
minute.
long. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna stop interrupting you at some point.
Um,
I can't.
it took me a very long time to mentally come to terms with how old I am after this.
Mhm.
Because the number one song on this day was This Is the Night by Clay Aiken.
Oh, I love Clay Aiken.
I love Clay Aiken so much.
I'm annoyed by him mostly, but
Yeah,
I
well,
love
yeah,
him
usually.
overall.
Yeah. The first time that I ever knew the true pain of reality TV ruining my life was the night that I stayed up past my bedtime to watch the finale of the second season of American Idol, and Clay Aiken did not win. And
Season
then
two.
literally couldn't go to school the next day because I cried so long.
Was
Yeah.
that the one Ruben Stoddard one?
Yes. The
Okay.
great thing is that Ruben and Clay are best friends and they tour together all
I
the time and do
know.
Broadway shows together, and they're just genuine. They were on The Masked Singer together, which may
Oh,
be a
don't tell me. Don't.
spoiler.
It is a
I'm
spoiler.
so sorry. I forgot how much farther behind than me you
I'm a season
are.
behind. Ugh. Okay, it's okay. I probably won't watch it for at least a few months, so I'll forget. So just never mention it again. Just never mention it again, and
Done.
I'll erase it from
Done.
my brain. I'm gonna eat some chocolate. That's what's gonna help. Oh, I have my lunch container here.
But yeah, so but I love Clay Aiken. That was one of the ones that it took me a while to like come to terms with him being gay.
Oh yeah, that was super obvious though. I don't. Did they talk
Yes.
about him being gay in the beginning? Like, did it
No. It was
come out
like
later?
it came out much later. And to be
Okay, that's
fair,
what I
I
thought.
was 11, like 10 or 11 when that show was on. And it was still not really, like, as strange as that seems, 20 years ago was still not a time that people talked about that, like, openly,
Right.
comfortably.
Yeah.
And I, 10-year-old me only liked gay men. I mean, to be fair,
32-year-old you only likes gay men.
I
I
was
don't
just
know
about
what
to
world
say
you're living
that.
in.
I was literally just, that's why I said to be fair. That was going to be the rest of my sentence.
When
Um,
Dan comes out as a gay serial killer, it'll surprise no one.
to be fair, I thought he was gay when I first met him. I
When did
was
you meet him?
No, Dan. I thought Dan was gay when I met
Oh,
him.
that is true. That is true.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was a time in my life. The number one book was The Lake House by James Patterson, which, fun fact, is not related to The Lake House, the movie with Keanu Reeves that I love, but it's fine.
Also a book though.
Yeah. Yes.
I think I've read The Lake House by James Patterson. That's like one of the ones I've read, but I don't remember.
Uh, and the number one movie, speaking of a throwback, um, was Charlie's Angel Full Throttle.
Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu.
And Drew Barrymore.
And Drew Barrymore. I always forget who the third person was. And I love Drew Barrymore. I watched all of her movies when I was a child. I don't know why.
And on this day, it was the very first day of the official National Do Not Call Registry, where you could apply to have your phone number taken off all of the call lists.
Well, they still haven't gotten that right, so.
Clearly, 21 years later, we are still fucking struggling with that. So, although the last time I got a phone call and I thought it was spam, it was someone calling asking if I knew my cousin, who apparently owes a lot of money. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I've never heard that name before. And then I hung up and then immediately texted him and said, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What have you done?
Well, I was like, why? And then I told my mom and she goes, oh, don't worry, every single person in our family got that call yesterday. I was like, dude.
What a time.
Yeah. Apparently they just like searched our last name and just assumed we were all related. And to be fair, we are. There isn't anyone else with that last name. It's all us. But I can't wait to change my last name to the most common last name in America.
Oh my God, you're gonna be
I know, but
so
nobody's gonna know.
unknown.
Nobody's gonna know who I am. It's
How
gonna
are
be
they gonna
great.
know?
I don't know. This episode was directed and written by Peter DeLuise and edited by Brad Rines, so nothing new there. Um, the guest star, because every single person in this episode is someone we have already talked about, was the girl who played the PT in one scene with Teal'c. That was the next highest person that we haven't talked about. Um,
Excellent.
her name is Sherry Raybould. She's known for Single and Dating in Vancouver, Stargate, and Sanctuary. Um, she has no bio, no social media. Um, and most of her credits are Hallmark movies. So that's
Oh, that's nice.
all I've got. Yeah.
Single and Dating in Vancouver. I want to watch that one. Is
Yeah,
it a Hallmark one?
I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
Mm, sounds lovely. It was just really loud.
No.
Okay, cool.
Um, we open with an unscheduled activation from SG-1 trying to get through in a tight firefight. And Teal'c comes in last and takes a blaster to the gut immediately and has no pulse. And then we get the credits.
I had, I had a brief, like 10-second heart attack, but as I was telling Mary Kate before the episode started, I did watch this after 1 a.m., so I wasn't all the way mentally there. So by the time my like heart and brain caught up to each other, I had already figured out what happened. But I was a little
No, but my favorite thing is one of
off
the
kilter.
reasons why I warned you at the beginning of the season that someone will die is because every episode
Just
this
to
season,
torture me for every episode. That's exactly. I
because
want you to know I had to rewind after the credits because I was thinking about how angry I was at you for setting it up this way. And I was like, this is gonna be the entire season. Every single episode, I know it. And then I was like, I have no idea what just happened.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I was like, I forgot just how many people almost died.
Almost dying.
I was like, ah, everyone's dead. In the infirmary, after the credits, Teal'c is in recovery, and Janet says they were all worried because he took the blast right to the stomach pouch, and so it actually like went through and damaged his spine because there's now nothing in his stomach pouch. And basically, the Tritonin is the only reason he's not dead. But
Right.
the Tritonin can't heal him the way the symbiote could. So like he does
Mhm.
actually have to like take recovery time.
Yeah.
Um, so Sam and Daniel, we have a quick scene where they're telling Ball or Hammond that Ball and his unified team of gold attacked them, and that's how we got in this position in the first place. Um, so they did it to themselves. Daniel goes to talk to Teal'c and like try to help him through anything, and Teal'c is very much not handling this okay. Like he
Tilk
is,
is like he is almost worse seeming than in what was it like season 3 when he was captured and not himself because Apophis had like changed
yeah,
his mind.
yeah.
It felt like it was that extreme of a difference.
He was the book that I just finished reading has a character who literally everything that goes wrong in like the entire book is because of her self-loathing. Like she's just decided she's a worthless piece of shit, and so like she could never be good enough for any of these people who are being nice to her. So clearly the only way to handle that is to be a fucking piece of shit to them. Um that is how Teal'c was reacting, like acting in this episode. He was like, I'm useless. Fuck all of you. And I was like, what? What?
Absolutely. I know. And I'm like, you were like, it was different also when it was like season 3. And he was like
Yeah.
earlier on, but he was like part of the family now. Like
Yeah.
Daniel's died and come back. Like we've lost Jonas. We've almost lost literally everyone else.
Everyone has died more than once. Like, come on.
Yeah. So it felt out of character.
I didn't think it felt out of character. I just thought it felt over dramatic.
But maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was more over dramatic.
It was like
character.
I was like, I understand that like his whole persona and everything he knows about himself is being a warrior, and now he's not in the same way, and so like that takes some adjusting. But like being a dick to everyone who cares about you, who like has also gone through the shit you're going through, not the way to handle it.
Not it, friend. Not it.
So Teal'c asks Daniel to leave, and as Daniel's leaving, he just hears someone screaming that is not there.
Yeah.
Great.
It felt very like the Jonas prophecy stuff.
Yeah. Then while Teal'c is in PT, Sam and Daniel are working out. Sam is complaining about sci-fi movies, and Daniel is trying to explain that he just has this nagging feeling that he's forgetting something, but he can't figure out what it is. He's like, I remember everything from before I ascended. Like all of my human memory is back. He's like, but I can't remember all of the pieces like from when I was ascended. And the heart, no, wait. Oh yeah, this is still part of that. Ye- Okay, hold on. I think I'm like combining two conversations in my brain right now because he says the hardest part is that like he doesn't know if he actually like chose to be here. But
Yeah. Well, he said that a couple of times too in the
yeah.
episode. So yeah.
Um, but I have because I after the admits forgetting something important, I wrote Teal'c refuses to stop working, and when the PT ends, and then tells them to leave again, and then Daniel hears the voice again, and then I have the thing about him not knowing if he chose to be there. So I'm just like
Mhm.
bunching conversations together, but it's because they were all about the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, Janet tries to clear Teal'c for active duty, and he says he's not ready.
This
Um,
man. And I get it, but also like, I mean, Jack kind of immediately says this after, but like, it doesn't
yeah.
matter if you're physically ready, if they say you're ready. Like, if you're not emotionally ready,
Right.
you're not
Yeah.
ready.
And that's because
Like,
that's what happens next. Like Jack goes to check on Daniel and they still haven't figured out what Daniel's missing. And he says that he needs help pep talking Teal'c because he's talked it over in the mirror too many times and it's just not peppy enough.
he's like,
Uh,
I did it. He's like, I've been in front of the mirror for an hour. And he's like, not peppy enough. He's like,
no. So then Teal'c has a full-on breakdown and he's like, I've been lying to you. I'm not strong enough to be on this team. And Jack
oh,
just kind of like
what a rough
accepts,
day.
yeah, Jack just kind of like accepts his apology and is like, okay, like, no. And Daniel gets pissed and he's like, why didn't you fight back? Like, why didn't you say that he is ready? And Jack's like, because he's not. Like, he might be healed, his body might be okay, but he's not ready.
Yeah.
Like, as a soldier, if you don't mentally think that you can do it, you won't be able to.
I mean, I feel like that's anything in
But
life. Like, if
yeah.
you don't feel like you're ready to do it, then you're not ready to do it.
Well,
Like,
and I do think that there are some things in life where it's like, okay, you can't wait till you're ready. You have to do
well,
it.
yeah.
And like I do totally believe that like if you all wait to do anything until you're ready, you'll never be ready and then you'll never
Yeah.
like get there. I totally buy into that philosophy. But I have to say that like when you are someone like a doctor or a soldier where like if
Hmm.
you have a second of doubt, someone
Right.
dies.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared to not doubt yourself.
Hmm.
Um
Absolutely.
Like I wake up every morning and think, who the fuck let me teach their children?
Yeah.
But then I go to work and I go, oh, I am so much of a better teacher than a lot of the people here. I don't know what I was worried about.
Yep. I'm
Which to be
intimately
fair,
familiar with that feeling.
might say more about them than it does about me.
Yeah,
But
it's fine.
it's fine. Um, so Daniel decides to make Teal'c meditate with him. And Teal'c's like, I don't need Kelnorium anymore. I can't do it. And Daniel's like, yeah, but like people meditate too, even though it doesn't do shit for them. And he just starts trying to like explain human meditation. And Teal'c goes, you know what is necessary for it? Shutting the fuck up.
Right. He's like, I don't know if it works, but I do know that this is how it goes.
Right. Um, and while they're meditating, Daniel has a vision and he finally like connects what he's been hearing this whole time. And the vision is of Ryak and Braytak being beaten in some kind of like slave labor. And he tells Teal'c what he just saw, and Teal'c immediately believes him because Teal'c remembers Daniel talking to him in his firefighter dream. And it's like,
Hmm.
no, like you were able to do things when you were ascended that we may not understand. Like if you see this, I believe you that it's real. Like I don't think you're imagining things. I know what
Right.
your mind is capable of. And so they tell Hammond, and Hammond is also like, okay. And Daniel is shocked. He's like, you believe me?
And I'm like, have you been here? I mean, I know you missed a season, but like,
Hammond's like, the
oh my
things that I have
God.
heard in this chair, yes, I believe you.
Yeah, no.
What you died and now you're here again. Like at that point, I believe you. Like what is
Right.
there left to say?
Right.
Um and Daniel doesn't know where they are. Um so and he's like, Teal'c, do you recognize anything from these visions? And Teal'c's like, honestly, no. And he's like, but you know who can help us? Ragnar. So they call Ragnar and bring him to the SGC to like get some information because Ragnar obviously knows where Teal'c and or where Braytak and Ryak went. Might not be where they are now, but he knows the most about their plan as the like second in command or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so then we switch over to the camp where Ryak and Braytak are, and they're working in this labor camp. And one of the other groups of Jaffa slaves in this labor camp aren't able to do their job. They're like dying. And so the like Jaffa commander just takes them and lines them up and kills them all and is like, if you are not fit enough to do your work, you don't get to live. And Ryak's fucking terrified because Braytak is clearly slowly dying.
Yeah. So
And
then I
he's
was also terrified because I was like, Tilk didn't die, but and you said it was going to be a big Braytech episode, and so I was like, is this the end of our friend? But it's fine. It's
it's
fine.
fine. It's fine.
I was
Um,
only sad sometimes.
so Daniel is able to like sketch out what he saw in his vision and like show it. And Ragnar recognizes it and he says that it's a planet called Cerberus. And that it's basically like a Jaffa concentration camp. It's a war camp. It's not a good time. Um, but that there's no way to get onto the planet because their Stargate is shielded with like something that's kind of similar to the SGC's Iris. Um,
Right.
and Daniel remembers like a memory of Braytak and Riot getting taken, and he remembers a device that Braytak had. So Daniel goes and he looks through the gate records for the Alpha site, which is where the Jaffa are, like their work camp, like their normal rebel camp is. And he was like, I knew it had something to do with the gate, but I couldn't place that it wasn't this gate, it was the Alpha site gate. So and they go through the gate records and they find the energy signature that Braytak sent. And they're able to duplicate that to open the shield on this other planet. Um, and then they're leaving, and as they're leaving, Teal'c's like, "If I die, Jack, I need you to take care of Braytak or of Ryak." So that's like not helping anybody's confidence.
No, 0%. 0%.
Yeah. So they send a bomb through and head over into Cerberus. And we find out that Braytak is out of Tritonin, and Ryak is convinced that he's gonna die, and that everything is over. And
So I have a quick question about the
yes,
Tritonin.
absolutely.
So he gets it from the Tok'ra,
Yeah.
correct? So would the Tok'ra not have set an alert to be like, we haven't seen him in this long, he's out of Tripton?
No, because the Tok'ra didn't supply Braytak per se, they supplied the SGC. So Teal'c and Braytak are like getting it from Janet, basically.
Mm.
Like,
So then the SGC should have been like, it's time for that, refill, and we
well,
don't know where
yeah.
he is.
Well, here's the thing. It depends on how much he had on the alpha site. If he had enough on the alpha site to get him through more time, but he didn't bring that with him when he
Mm.
was
I
unceremoniously
see.
captured. Yeah, so he probably had more at the alpha site. He just didn't have enough physically on his person on Cerberus.
Got it. I was like, I don't know why there are no red flags that happened before
No, I mean
Daniel's memory trick.
it could be a plot hole, but it's more likely that his current like month supply or whatever is just on the Alpha Site planet. Um, because they probably knowing that he was going to be off going on multiple adventures, they probably gave him
Right.
more than he needed so that he could go off and do his things without having to check in very frequently.
Right.
Um, but no matter how much he's dying, Braytac is like, just hang on, like, have faith.
He was the only person in this like Rebel Jaffa crew that has any faith longer than 5 seconds.
Correct. Correct. I mean, to be fair, he's been internally by himself fighting against like system lords for 100 years when no one else
I guess
believed
that's
him.
true.
So like,
I guess that's true.
um, SG-1 finds the camp and they spot Ryak and they decide that they have to sneak in once it's dark because there's too many Jaffa to just like bust in. Which, how many fucking times on this show are you like, maybe just don't bust in into a middle of a field full of Jaffa? Like, maybe don't.
All the time.
All of the time, yeah. So Teal'c and Ragnar head in with the rest of SG-1 watching their sex, and Teal'c gets to Braytac and Ryak. He gives Braytac some Tritonin and says he's going to take the two of them out, but Ryak freaks out. He's like, what about everybody else? Like, we're not the only slaves here. And Teal'c's like, we don't have enough, like, well, that's not going to happen. Like, we can't get that many people out. And Ryak's basically like, well, then I'm staying.
Looks like that's the thing you do as like a
Correct.
soldier.
No, is it
You
the
don't leave
correct
no man
thing?
left behind.
Is it the correct thing to do? Yes. Is it also the stupid thing to do? Yes.
Right.
Do I want to believe that I would do the same thing? Sure. To be fair, I don't think my self-preservation instincts are high enough to not do the same thing.
I
don't think
I do not think I would do the same thing. I think I would like to believe I would, but I don't think I would.
Yeah, the only thing that tells me not to is the idea of saving myself, but I genuinely don't think I have enough self-preservation instinct to save myself. So like I think I would, but like on accident.
Yeah.
So Teal'c's caught and they begin to beat him. Sam and Daniel see this happening and they like want to go in, and Jack's like, I understand that this is difficult, but please do not. Like, that is, I mean, and that's Jack's special ops training there. Like, we very rarely get to see like the real depth of his special ops training, but in this case, no, he's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Rushing in without a plan just to save Teal'c will not save anyone. Will not save anyone at all. And Jack, I think Jack kind of also knows where Teal'c's at mentally, and like that's rushing in to save him and him not being able to fight back will only make his mental state worse. And I think like if it was like Teal'c is going to die, he would have stepped in. But I think in this case, it was part of it was military know-how and part of it was knowing his friend well enough to know that that would not have been the right choice.
Yeah.
So,
but also, I mean, Teal'c's tough. Like, he could take care of himself, even if, like, and I understand it's less easy to take care of yourself in this kind of situation. But, like,
right. And no, and I don't think anyone doubts that Teal'c can take care of himself. But, like, to be fair, if I was watching somebody beat the shit out of you, I would probably, like, not just sit there and be like, well, Courtney can handle it.
I mean, sure. Well, because I can't. I am not as strong as Teal'c. So I would hope he would step in or send someone to step in. But yeah. But I think it's that, you know, it's like you were saying, it's not military training. Like,
yeah,
soldier to soldier. He knows that, like,
yeah,
you know, he's being very what's the word? Like, very particular about why he's doing it.
Yeah, he's strategic. He's being very strategic about how to like handle the situation and save people without blowing covers and not losing more lives just to save one person and blah blah blah.
Purposefully. He's doing it very purposefully. That's what I'm trying to say.
Teal'c wakes up the next morning and he can't walk. And he tells Ryak it's okay if he dies as long as Ryak doesn't.
Yeah.
I have to remember where we were.
I know. I have no idea.
Oh, I know. Okay. Yeah, so he's being all sad and telling his kid that he's gonna die, which is, you know, really fun.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but he also tells Ryak that he knows that they're gonna be rescued, and Ryak's basically at this point like, okay, everybody fucking knows, cool, not me. Um, then Daniel also being TM sad boy, because he's like, if I had just done something about it when I was ascended, we wouldn't be in this situation. Like I should have been able to help them. And Jack's like, okay, well, you didn't, so we gotta figure out plan B. And they're like, do you have a plan B? He's like, nope, but it's time for it.
That was the funniest thing. I was like, that is how I feel every day of my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need a different plan. Do you have one? Absolutely not. But we're
No,
just gonna keep going
not even
until
a
one
little bit.
comes up.
They're like, okay, but what we really need is a distraction. So they decide they're gonna blow up the haystack. Which,
Sure.
sure.
That's a
Hmm.
distraction.
Sorry, a ladybug just appeared on my notebook and I
Aww.
didn't know where it came from. Um, so Sam sneak ahead of or aboard the haystack, and Teal'c tells Ryak and Ragnar to like spread the word to all the slaves that they're gonna need to like fight back because they're not gonna be
Talk
able to do
to.
this
Yeah.
alone. Um, and he says he's too weak to fight, but that it's okay if he that Ryak will survive and that'll be okay. 'Cause everybody's just real fucking depressing this episode.
Yeah.
And then Braytek gives Teal'c a get your shit together pep talk. He's like, physical strength is not what makes a warrior. Like, he's like, you have been stronger than me for a long time, and yet somehow I have never like lost to you in battle. And Teal'c's like, bitch, I let you win.
I know. That was cute. He was
And
like, that's there you go. That's
he's
the
like, yeah,
spirit.
exactly. Like, don't stop. Like, get it
Mhm.
together. Um, but then because Ryak was like off spreading the news to the slaves to rebel, he wasn't where he was supposed to be for work. So he gets pulled for execution because he's not doing his job. And Teal'c volunteers as tribute, and it very much felt like the Hunger Games.
It
Um,
sure did.
and he's like, and the big bad, like the bad Jaffa guy, he's like, well, you look like you're about to die anyway, so this is probably the right choice. So we would have killed you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, and then just as shit's about to go down, the haystack explodes, and really, the ship isn't really what explodes. The gravity field on the ship explodes, so there's a big boom, and then also the ship starts dropping. Um, the Jaffa go after it, and then they get attacked. All the slaves fight back. Teal'c proves that he's still a badass warrior. They liberate the camp, and all of the other, like, and all of the Jaffa from the camp go to the Alpha site to join the rebellion. Um, we finally go back to the SGC. Everybody gets their medicine and their healing, and um, Daniel and Teal'c go back to their meditation and talk about how they have finally figured out what their place in the world is. And it's all very sweet. And
Yeah.
we we end it.
It feels kind of like a reset.
Yeah. I think it kind of is.
Hmm.
Like we can now kind of like close up all those little pieces that we didn't really have closed up for the rest of the
Right.
season. I will also say I only now, after talking about the episode for the last hour, figured out that it does actually make sense, the title. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So my only two pieces of trivia for this episode. One is I have a question before I explain it. When Sam was talking shit about sci-fi movies, did you know what she was talking about?
I forgot what she said because it was such a small piece that I kind of like.
Yeah.
So what did she say?
She said if the aliens can be killed by water, why did they go to a planet that is two-thirds water? Not to
Right.
mention the rain. Yes.
Is it Gremlins?
No.
Oh.
She's making fun of signs.
Oh yeah, I just watched Signs for the first time like 5 years back.
Yeah, and it is actually legitimately written to make fun of
Yeah,
signs.
it's
And
so funny.
and they then also like the guys like talked a lot about how they think that they wanted to potentially make a running gag of just shit talking all of M. Night Shyamalan's plot twists and how they don't make sense. And that's why I was like, you're gonna be angry, but like
No, I
not
am
actually
angry.
angry, just like in a that's so funny angry, but like yeah, because
To be fair,
to be fair,
you've
it does
fallen off the grid a bit.
yes, and also to be fair, when you think about it, why would the aliens and signs stay here? Once they got here and realized how much this planet was going to kill them at any given moment, why did they stay?
You know, that's my argument every day. Everyone's like, the aliens, they're coming to get us. Like, I know it's happening. And like, sure, the government has said like there are
Yeah.
UFOs, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But I'm like, here's the thing. I don't know a ton about aliens because I've never met one. However, I do believe they would get to Earth and be like,
Yeah.
no, thank you. They have to have more structure. They have to have more like camaraderie. They have to have
Right.
more like thoroughness throughout their like culture and their
Yeah.
people. Like this is not the place you come to stay. The world is burning. The people all are mean to each other.
Yes.
There's death everywhere. Everything is loud. The sun is bright. Like this is not the place you come and you say, you know, this is better than my planet. I haven't been to their planet. It's not though. So like,
Unless it's like a Superman thing where their planet's actually exploded and they don't have another choice, then maybe.
but I bet they could find another one that's a little less chaotic than this one.
I mean, Mars is less chaos, but probably not.
Maybe like Venus. You go to Venus?
No, Venus would fucking kill you. The gas?
Aliens?
Well, it depends. Are they carbon-based life forms? Are they like sulfur-based life forms? It depends because
I don't know.
if they're carbon-based life forms, if they're anything like any of the creatures on this planet, no, Venus would fuck them up.
Yeah, but I assume they're better than us.
Better than us doesn't mean genetically
Well, I
not
think
related.
genetically better than us too. Like,
Sure, but again, it still depends on what gaseous
but
life.
also
Like,
like, what about the moon? Can they go to the moon?
there's no gravity on the moon. They would
Can,
float away.
maybe not. Maybe they have sticky feet. Or like they could commandeer a space satellite station thing. Look, I just feel like they've got it figured out that we're not the place to come to unless they're going to
I'm not.
destroy us.
I'm
I don't think
not
they're coming to
disagreeing.
take us.
I'm not disagreeing that we are not the planet for
Yeah.
them. I'm just also saying that I don't think any other planet in our solar
Mm.
system is.
Well, then I would like to counter argue with myself that I don't think they're coming here to take us to rescue or to do whatever. I think they would kill us and take our land then.
Sure,
I don't think
absolutely.
they'd want to like deal with us. That's my point.
Oh, absolutely not. We're terrible.
Yeah. Like I don't want to deal with us and I'm here. I have
Yeah,
to.
correct.
So,
The other piece of trivia for this episode is that it is named Orpheus, which is indeed named after the Orpheus of Greek mythology, which is the story of Orpheus and Eurydice.
oh, I was wondering if it was that because I only knew
Yeah.
Orpheus as a Mardi Gras parade until I saw Hadestown. So,
Yeah, so the
mm,
story of Orpheus and Eurydice is a Greek myth, which we have talked about Hadestown a lot on this podcast, so you probably know some of it. But the actual myth is that Orpheus travels to hell to rescue his love,
mhm,
and then indeed ends up damning both of them because he doesn't trust her enough to
mhm,
follow him, and he turns around and looks back. And
mhm.
I was like, I don't understand why this episode would be named that. And it wasn't until I spent an hour talking about it that I was like, oh, because when Teal'c finally stops looking back to what he was before, he gets it together. Daniel and Teal'c both
That
needed
does
that.
make
Yeah, like
sense.
Daniel and Teal'c both needed to get to the point where they weren't looking back anymore. And
Mhm.
like it was only after explaining the whole episode that I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
that does.
Because I was like, but
I was like, he does go to rescue people. He does go to bring them back from theoretical hell.
hell,
Like, I
yes.
get it. but then I couldn't figure out where the ending came into play.
Yeah.
So
And it's also like, it's not the same thing because, like, honestly, the whole myth of Orpheus and Eurydice is like basically just an allegory for human failing and the fact that we will never, no matter how much we love someone, never like trust ourselves enough to do anything. And like, um, but it's also kind of like the beauty of the tragedy of the human existence is that like when you love someone so much, no matter how much you trust them, you have to look for them. Like,
yeah.
and so like people, okay, because here's the thing. Women will post these videos all the time on like TikTok of like their husbands walking down the street in New York City in front of them and be like, well, if my husband was Orpheus, I wouldn't be stuck in hell because this bitch never turns around and looks at me. But they're like,
I have never seen these videos.
we live on different sides of TikTok.
We live on different planets.
That's true. But then other people will get mad and be like, the whole point is that he should look back. Like the whole point is that Orpheus loves her so much he can't not look back. And like they will never. And the whole bargain with Hades is that of course he's going to look back because if he didn't look back, he wouldn't love her. And like so like then the other women are like, your husband doesn't actually like you, blah blah blah. Whatever. It's all kinds of like people getting pissed off about Greek myths, which is wild to me. But in my mind, I was like, but who the fuck looks back? Well, Teal'c and Daniel both.
Teal'c and Daniel.
Both look back. And then when they stop looking back, everything gets better. And I was like,
and there's your reset.
Woohoo! Finally, yeah, I watched the entire episode, took all of the notes for the episode, and then told you guys at the beginning of the podcast that I didn't understand the title. And it wasn't until now that I was like, oh,
Shake hey.
Got it.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
So, do you have any thoughts, theories, predictions?
Like I said, I feel like it's a reset. I feel like we're starting over. So I feel like there's not a lot to predict at this point because I think we're gonna kind of, I mean, you know, obviously the big bads, et cetera, they'll come into play. But I don't know that there's anything like particular that I can like point out of like, here's what I think is coming next because I don't know. I think somebody's gonna die, but I don't think that's gonna be till the end. At least after halfway. I don't know if it'll be like the finale, but I think it'll be after halfway before anybody actually dies. So, or like anybody important. People will die. People always die, but
that's true. Well, and it's okay if you don't have a prediction because next week's episode is
unrelated.
Yeah, it's our first kind of mini story of the week episode of the season. So,
we recover from these first 4 episodes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be fair, a sci-fi show in the 2000s not having a story of the week episode until 5 episodes in is more shocking than the fact that we're getting a story of the week episode next week.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Well, who do you want to punch?
The white-haired guy.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
His name is, I think his name in the credits is just Jaffa Commander. I don't know that he has a name. We have seen him before.
No one cares about him. Yeah, I know. I was like, I've seen him. Surely he has a name.
Yeah, no, we have seen him before, but apparently his name is Jaffa Commander. So that's
cool.
Yeah. I want to punch Teal'c, and like obviously he gets there by the end. It's an episode of self-discovery, whatever. Like I get it. But like, bitch.
Anytime, no, I get it.
Yeah.
And like I want to punch me when I'm going through self-discovery.
Right.
Just and get there.
And part of it is, like I said, he reminds me of the character in the book that I just read. And I discovered that today I was talking to Chrissy and Kate at work, and I was like, here's the thing. The reason why for this whole 5-book series I have hated this character so much, I figured it out when I finished the book. I hate her because I am her. Like it.
Don't you love when that happens?
And like, so here we are at the end of the book. She finally came around. I cried. I love her, but also I still fucking hate her. But it's because I get it. I get it.
Read my book next. Why it's Romantasy World?
What?
Read my book.
Okay. Send it to me.
Have I sent it to you? I think I did.
Did you? I don't know. I feel like you sent it to me. You sent me something like years ago though.
Yeah, same book. The same one. It started in 2020.
Cool, 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 cool.
So,
Who is your MVP?
um, I'm gonna go with Break Tag. He was just like, he always stays positive. He's always like, we're gonna make it through, you're gonna make it through, I'm gonna make it through. If I don't make it through, it's okay because I'm at peace with myself and we're
Yeah.
all gonna keep going. I had a hard time. I was fighting between him and Jack, but I gotta go with Break Tag.
Yeah, no, Braytac would have been my first choice as well, but my second choice also was Jack because Jack was the one who was like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And
Right.
but he was like, but I will hold him at the water until he does. Like
Right. Hmm.
and sometimes you just need somebody to be stubbornly patient with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, you when you do end up finishing the Avatar books, you will understand everything I'm feeling about the fifth book. You will get it.
Look.
You
Okay.
will you will probably throw it across the room quite a few times because you will get it, but you will get it.
I don't have room for those kind of emotions right now,
No,
so
you
I feel like
don't.
I just have to wait.
Yeah, no, you should probably wait because it will
Yeah.
ruin your life.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Love that for me. Love that for me.
Um, yeah, so with that, if you also relate to characters who can't get their shit together because of their emotional baggage, be our friends because we are those people. And
That is
also,
us.
also you can email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com or follow us on all of the social media at Death and Aliens. You can follow me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar.
And you can find me at CE Cloud 13.
And we will see you on Thursday for an episode of Thriller Thursday where I may or may not remember anything that happened in the episode.
Tis an episode though. See you then.
Bye.